It's your boy Superman 2000 coming from the fight chair. Got some bad news, man. Bad news. I got this email. You probably can't see it on my. Hold on a second. You can't see it on my phone, so I'll read it to you. By the way, this is the iPhone SE. I just got this for like chump change. It takes iOS 12, and it's like a 60. It's a good deal. I got 64 gigs. So I'm just gonna hang on to this, keep using this thing a little while, and I really enjoy it. Bitter License was where I got this, by the way. But if you do get another phone that's affordable, that you like, that you enjoy, and you refuse to pay the cost of high finance, like that, what's that, $40 a month type deal where they rip you off, what Verizon does is charge you an extra $20 line fee. So basically, they're trying to charge me $20 more than normal. A normal line fee $20. They're trying to charge me an additional $20 because I was clever enough to get my own phone that's gonna take iOS 12 with more memory space than the one that they have on their website selling. Nah, it's okay. But I'm gonna call them and tell them that's unacceptable. Will and deal. Let them know I'm gonna walk to Sprint if they don't fix it. All right. So I'll read the bad news. I got sidetracked. But you guys who sub to my channel already know I am both blessed and cursed with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia. So, hey, it's all good. All right, here we go. It says, Dear fans, after 5 years, UFC Pick will be ending its run. With UFC 227 on August 24th, 2018, you will still be able to see the scores the following week. Thank you for your many thousands. Thank you to the many thousands of. Who play in and. That's odd. Let me pinch this, make it bigger. Okay, here we go. Who play week in and week out. We appreciate your dedication. Okay, so they're ending UFC Fight Pick'em. Bad move. Bad move. Now, here's why I think that's a bad move. UFC Fight Pick'em, not only do I interact, one of the things about UFC Fight Pick'em is, as a fan, you get a psychological high when you make a pick, when your guy win, when you're in competition with other people. I'm competing with other people for the highest score. I have a dog in the fight. It makes it more exciting. But when you take that factor out of it, I'm still enjoying the fight, still enjoying the pay-per-views. But the fun of competing with millions of people. I've been ranked number 7,000. In millions of people, I've been ranked number 435 with millions of people and still closing on number one spot. That fun is gone. But here's what I suspect. I suspect that the top brass at the UFC, the new people who are not really sports fans, are saying, hey, why are we paying all this money to have UFC Fight Pick'em? It's an additional cost. You know, we should be moving that the cost for those servers and hosting fees and cloud storage fees to our Fight Pass. You should redirect those expenses and flow them over to the Fight Pass, because for what we're paying for UFC Fight Pick'em, we can invest those monthly fees into UFC Fight Pass, build out that infrastructure, and have more capacity for profitability. Okay, that's the NBA way of putting it. But long story short is that the money that we're paying for UFC Fight Pick'em is not revenue generating. On paper, it doesn't generate revenue. But if we take that money and put it in UFC Fight Pass, we actually have an infrastructure that's generating revenue. So the return on investment is much more better with UFC Fight Pass. On the other hand, I beg to differ. If you just have UFC Fight Pass only, not UFC Fight Pick'em, then here's the problem. as a fan, I'm not able to interact with my perception, my picks, who I think is the best, my conceptual framework. I can't put that into practice and enjoy the sport even more. So, Dana White, my advice to you is take the UFC Fight Pass and combine that with UFC Fight Pick in some kind of way. Okay, make it happen. Either if they are cutting that off, it means to me it means that there are going to be some other cost cutting measures coming down the pipe. Now, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they close down the Fight Performance Center or sell it the way they're rolling and just go to virtual headquarters or whatever not. I wouldn't be surprised because the competition is very stiff. Bellator is on them, crushing them down. I'm trying not to make the video long, so the counter is like 6 minutes. But Bellator is crushing them. And not only that, is a publicly traded company called MM. I forgot the name of the company, but they're publicly traded. The last time I checked, their share was like either $6 or $4 a share. And they've bought up other promotional events like the rodeo, they bought the license and the rights to a whole heap of other sport events. So they have a diversified portfolio, and they're gradually expanding into the industry. Where as UFC's they're shrinking. The UFC they couldn't last in Mexico. They had to close the offices in Mexico. They're trying to make headway in China and the Asia market. But guess what? Oh, must be an email. But guess what? Right now, Bellator is already there by way of Viacom and that pipeline that they have flooding that market with content already. So it's an uphill battle for them. They have a lot of overhead costs that they're trying to cut down now. That's why they're trying to slash fighter pay across the board. No, the last time Daniel Cormier fought, who did he fight? He got like $2 million, and John Jones cracked him upside the head, and he lost the belt, right? And then he came up with a sensitive picture of himself naked. It's like, I don't know what that was about. I don't know. Some woman in the room must have tell him to put a picture of his body on the internet with him being all sensitive, and all that nonsense. But nonetheless, he got $2 million when John Jones cracked him upside the head and won. But no, this time in the super fight, he's getting 100,000. Stipe getting a 150. So I guess they're trying to cut upfront costs by kicking back pay-per-view points to the fighters on the back end so they get royalties. So basically what they're trying to do is say, hey, we're risking our money, so we want the fighters to share in that risk, and we'll give them some pay-per-view points. Now, money on the back end seems good, but with the UFC, their contract is so convoluted. By the time the royalties get to you, it may be reclassified a little different than expected. But not that I know that's the case, because some of these guys have good net worth. So the UFC, they're going to go through a lot of cost-cutting measures right now to stop hemorrhaging cash. To basically, the people who bought the franchise, they see the potential value in it. But right now, they need to turn it into a cash cow. You see, when the UFC was sold for $1 million, the guy who sold for $1 million, he bought it for $40,000. And what he sold was the potential for it to make more money. That's what Dana White and the Zuffa brothers pay the $1 million or the $4 million for, right? Then the Zuffa brothers and Dana White pumped some money into it, and they sold it for $4 billion. And what they're selling is not the profitability, but the potential for it to make more money. So it's almost like it's what's that called? A white elephant. A long time ago, there was a village somewhere. Somebody gave these people a blessed white elephant. They were sacred to them. They loved the white elephant, but they were starving, so they couldn't kill the elephant and eat it. And they had to keep feeding the elephant more food. So those people probably took that elephant and sell it to another village, and the prospect of it being so sacred and wonderful. So basically, people buy the UFC, they buy it because of the profit potential. Now, the people that have bought it says, hey, we want to realize the profit potential that we were told we were going to get, so we're cutting costs to make it work, to make it happen. Hence, we're going to stop giving fighters free ticket. We're going to cut down travel expenses. You can only bring one team member and you cover the rest of the costs. We're going to cut back on the UFC fight picking. We're going to cut back on executives. We're going to fire everybody. Chuck Liddell, the matchmakers. We're going to fire Joe. Listen, Joe Rogan, he's gone. They got the new baldhead guy. They're going to fire Joe and hand everything over to that guy. They're going to fire professional commentators and start using fighters to do double duty and pay the fight. They're part of the fighters' contract. They put it on the promotional expenses. They're going to keep doing that, thinning out the bottom line. But see, that's the thing about that hustle. That organization and the business model is to grow the business and then sell it to somebody else who's going to grow it some more and then sell it. That business model and that business, the profit has always been in building it and in selling it, not actually from taking money from it or reaping money from it. The money and the profit always comes from the back end. That's what the problem with that business model. So now the people who bought it are saying, hey, we want our money. We want to make it work. All right, guys, I said I'm like 11 minutes into this video. So if you got bored and you clicked off it or you watch it to the end, I appreciate you still. I never said like or subscribe because you're probably gonna do that anyway. If you like the video, if you like the content, you're gonna subscribe anyway. All right, guys, that's my 2 cents from the fight chair. Peace out. And by the way, Francis Ngannou is coming back. Make no mistake about that. So is Derrick Lewis. All right, guys, peace out.